Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Michael?
You just got back from your favorite city on earth. How was it?
It was all right, man. It was all right. It was overwhelming. It's very different. I hadn't been back in several years. And
we're talking about New York City, by the way. Not actually Jordan's favorite city, but a city that we have a real affinity towards.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is the greatest city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my personal favorite city anymore, but it is objectively the greatest city in the world.
Correct.
I don't think there's any way around that. But yeah it was, when we lived there, it was just like, I love the busyness, love the hustle, love the grind. And then, I live in like a little neighborhood now, cul-de-sac, quiet. And then I go back, I'm like, oh my God, this is too much stimulation. I'm not a fan of this anymore. I need to get the hell out of here.
You called me. You must have been walking for, 15 minutes. You got to your hotel on Friday and you were there to give a talk at a fitness event. But
Strong New York, Kenny Santucci. It was a good event. Very good job. Kenny killed it.
Cool. And we can even talk about that. I just, when you first landed, you got there, you were walking for like 15 minutes and you called me. And what did you say? Oh, you're like, I miss my cul-de-sac. You're like, I need to be back at my cul-de-sac. And I hear honking in the background. I hear like people yelling and screaming. You're like, it is so busy. I just need to get back to my cul-de-sac.
I'm paranoid. I'm looking over my shoulder every like half second. Like, who's behind me? What is that? It's just, and there's no room or space. I could see into another hotel room window. I could have reached into that hotel room if I wanted to. Just like, it was no space, no room, too many people.
That's something I forgot about that I remember having a strong impact on me when I first moved to the city in 2013 was I could literally reach out the window of my second floor walk up in East Harlem and touch the building next to us. Like there was like enough room for you to fall down there and potentially get lost forever and die, but not enough room for anything else to happen.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy.
The event went well, though? What'd you talk about?
I only had 20 minutes, which was a real downer. So my talk was for fitness enthusiasts, not business stuff, which over the last 3 years, I've spoken way more about business than I have about fitness. But it was basically, I was like, okay, I've only got 20 minutes. So how do I make this the most impactful 20 minutes that I can? And so I spent the first 10 minutes telling a story because that I think is the best way to make an impact. Like rather than just like giving data and numbers and facts, I think telling a story is the best way to actually get people to develop a relationship with you and to really internalize the message that you're getting across.
Was the story about Friendly's ice cream?
No. The story was about how I got into wrestling and then how I was able to manipulate my weight on the scale and how essentially when I first got into high school wrestling, after I wrestled since I was 8, but when I got into high school and I had to cut from 112 to 103, I had a month to cut from 112 to 103 before the season started. And I didn't know what to do. And so I just ate less, ate more fruits and vegetables, had more protein, and I lost 4 pounds in that month. And an average of a pound a week is a great rate of progress. But because I had to lose 9 pounds by that time, 4 pounds now all of a sudden looked terrible. Mm-hmm. And so then my wrestling coach, he taught me how to just sweat out pounds and pounds of water, not drink after sweating for hours and hours and hours, not eat for a couple of days. And then within a day, I had lost the remaining 5 pounds. So it took me a month to lose 4 and then a day to lose 5. So then I was like, well, why would I eat really dialed and everything for the entire season when I could just eat whatever I wanted and then just before a competition, starve myself, dehydrate myself, and then I'll be able to make weight. And this was a message around how easily the scale is to manipulate, how dangerous it is to have have timelines for your weight loss goals. Like it doesn't have to happen in a certain timeline. An arbitrary number by an arbitrary date is sort of irrelevant. And so I used that story to get that point across. And then I spent the remainder of my time explaining how to find out your calories, how to find out your protein, how to find out your fiber. And that was it.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good one.
Telling a story is always a very good way to get a message across.
I like that. I like that story too. I don't know that I knew that story.
There's a lot you don't know about me, Michael. There's a lot.
Is there?
Dude, so much. You kidding me?
The mansion?
No, you know about the mansion. The hypothetical mansion, the dream mansion. No,
it was a real mansion.
Oh, I thought you were making a rich joke.
No, I'm not making a... Dude, that's not a joke. You are rich. That's nothing to joke about.
You're rich. You're way more rich.
I'm talking about the mansion that you went to as a kid.
Yeah, that was so weird. No one listening knows that story, though.
That's all right. It's a teaser. It's a teaser for the future.
I was forced to go to this. I didn't live in a mansion. I was forced to go to this mansion to learn meditation, and I had horrible experiences at this mansion, which is why I don't like meditation personally. I have trauma around meditation, and now Mike has trauma around meditation.
We both do. So. That's enough of a teaser for today. Okay. Got a long list. We have a couple of great questions. We have a sale for the Fitness Business Mentorship coming up around Black Friday. We're probably going to announce it sometime before Black Friday. So if you want to be first to hear about the sale, jump on the email list. You can do that in the YouTube description or in the show notes of the podcast. You'll also get a really cool guide, 30 ways to build your online fitness business, that Jordan and I put a lot of effort into and that people have really liked. So you can sign up if you want to be first to hear about the sale here in the next few weeks.
Everybody likes it. Everyone says, "Oh, wow, this is a great guide. Everyone loves it."
That's actually what they say in that voice. That's uncanny.
And I'm writing a book. 12 books. They've all done very well. Do you know that? Have you seen that video?
No.
Where you have...
Is that a Trump quote?
Yeah, it's a Trump quote, but it's like, it's one of the it's probably my favorite video of all time. Someone made this incredible video of, you have Obama talking about an incredible raid that the U.S. military conducted, and he's super professional. He's like, the United States military conducted a raid last night, ending in the destruction of so-and-so. And then you have Trump, and he's like, beautiful dogs went in, ripped him apart, and he cried. He cried like a dog. I wouldn't have cried. And then Obama's like, and then they conduct this operation, and Trump is like, beautiful dogs looking, they're amazing. They didn't even, usually you just knock, hello, knock. They just barged right in.
I can see how that could be edited to be extremely funny.
It's one of my favorite videos of all time. It's absolutely incredible. And at the end of it, Obama goes, and I just want to say thank you to the United States military. And Trump goes, and I'm writing a book.
Not at the end of the speech, at the end of the edited clip.
At the end of the, yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's absolutely hilarious.
What else you got for us?
Well, to be a downer, today's October 7th, 1 year since October 7th. I know I'm bringing it down, but I had to bring it up. Yeah, it's crazy. It's been a year. It's been the fastest and slowest year of my life, and I'm sure for many others. But yeah, I told you I got in a big debate in Washington Square Park the other day because you were like, go to Washington Square Park, see what's going on. And then of course,
you were in
there
the
were
area.
A lot of anti-Israel people.
You were walking by.
And I just I couldn't hold my tongue. I just couldn't do it and just went off.
Jordan goes to New York City and starts treating it like it's small town Texas and just striking up conversations left and right. You're standing at a street corner and this kid's talking to his dad and you interject. You're like, oh, he likes the airplanes. You like airplanes, buddy? Yeah, you get to Washington Square Park. There's people debating. You just kind of sneak in there. You're like, yeah.
Well, yeah, someone says something that's factually incorrect. I just nope, you're wrong. And just launched. I just launched.
I had not even realized that it's October 7th. That makes a lot of sense.
What makes a lot of sense?
I feel like you weren't in the best mood today.
Makes a lot of sense now. The date.
Well, I hadn't put two and two together, and now I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Yeah, man.
You were coming at me today.
Really
you
sad.
were just blazing.
Dude, that's
like
when you call looking for coins, when the extrovert goes, I'm understimulated. Who in my phone book is going to give me the best stimulation? Sometimes that's what you get. When you ever go trick-or-treating as a kid, Jor?
No, actually, I was. Yes, of course I went trick-or-treating. Yeah,
cool. All right, so you're going first house, you get like Reese's peanut butter cups, you're pumped. Next house, peanut M&Ms, like you're feeling.
Oh, that's way better. Yeah, I love peanut M&Ms.
The third house, I don't know, a little mini Milky Way bar and a mini Snickers bar. The next house went big and did the full-size candy bars. You get a full-size Butterfinger, you're just feeling it.
Sour Skittles.
Maybe you're not a chocolate guy. Maybe you're a sour Skittles guy. Yeah, you get all your favorite candies. And then the 23rd house, they might give you an apple, or they might give you a nickel, or they might give you a little baggie of carrots and celery, or you once in a while, that's what you get. When you're looking for coins and making phone calls and looking for coins, almost every day you're going to get coins. But sometimes I don't have any coins and I'm trying to do some work, and you just come out guns a-blazing. You just get celery and a toothbrush sometimes, and that's a bad beat. And unfortunately,
poison you get celery and toothbrush.
That's a lie. It's an outright lie. Unfortunately, it appears you got celery and toothbrush on October 7th, which isn't good.
Ah, it's okay, man. It's all right. You must not be on social media today.
No, I haven't been for a little bit.
You haven't been scrolling?
Have not been scrolling.
You had a scrolling phase.
Instagram was amazing, but I think I churned through all the best content over there in like 5 days or something.
That must have been a wild 5 days.
No, honestly, this time of year, what occupies more of my leisurely attention is the NFL. And watching the Vikings yesterday. There were pretty good football games on yesterday. So
3-0 now, right?
Chilling. 5-0. Vikings are 5-0.
They've already had 5 games? Jeez, I thought it was 3. 5-0. That's crazy. Vikings are on a tear.
Yeah, they actually are. They didn't even play very good at all. The defense was really good. They beat the Jets over in London. And yeah.
It's actually really genius that the NFL is bringing it overseas just to get wider viewership. It's actually a really, really smart idea.
Yeah, trying to expand the league. London, Brazil. There was a game down there. Second game of the season, I want to say. But anyway, yes, I'm not consuming as much on social media these days. Neither are you. You just create.
No, I consume. I consume way more than I should.
When you say more than you should, how much should you be consuming?
If I'm consuming realistically, I mean, here's what I'll do. I'll allocate 15 minutes of leisurely consuming as acceptable, like a day.
Oh, wow. That's not very much.
If that's not that much, then that's a bad sign. Issue. That's for you to be like, that's not that much. That'd be like saying someone having 1,500 calories a day of sugar isn't that much.
If you look at how many minutes are in a day, and then you think 15 minutes out of the day, it's just not very, it's like 1% of the day.
Yeah, but think about how much content you can see in 15 minutes on Instagram. Like there's so many. If it was 15 minutes of a YouTube, that's fine. Like that's nothing. Like I would say 2 hours of YouTube, long form, 2 hours of podcast. But like 15 minutes of scrolling, I think is, oh my gosh, dude. There's just, and I do more than that. I definitely do more than that.
But 15 would be
like I do a significant amount of research of like looking at other content, trying to figure out, okay, this did well in a different industry. Let me try this in the fitness industry. Like I do a fair amount of that. And if you look at my text messages to myself, I'm constantly texting myself, sending myself ideas and looking at other strategies that people use. So a lot of it is research or R&D. But like a lot of it is also just I get sucked into the vortex. There's this one video. I must have been served this video 200 times, and I have to watch it every time, multiple times, every time it comes up. There's a video of this guy who's running into a garage, and he's going to close the garage door. But apparently the time before when he tries to close it and then run back out of the garage. But when he tried to close it before, the sensor caught it and the garage went back up. So now he closes the garage door, and as he's running, he's trying to jump over the sensor, and he smashes his head into the garage door, and everyone in the car who's filming is losing it laughing. It's like best video of all time. And I get this video pretty frequently from different accounts, and I can't help but just watch that over and over and over again. I'm breathless every time I watch it. Have you seen that video?
I did, and now I'm wondering, did you send me that recently and that's why I saw it, or did I just see it randomly?
I don't think I sent it to you recently. I might have sent it to you at some point. That's like the all-time favorite video. I should watch that video when I wake up every day and just put me in a good mood. It's extraordinary.
I don't understand how that happens.
How the guy smashes his head.
Yeah, like
he was just totally unaware. just like he didn't even try and duck. It looked like there was just it. Yeah, it was really bad. Smashed himself, and I think he wrecked the door too. It was incredible.
Yeah, because he came with speed. Like he was moving. You got to get low. That guy might need to do a little mobility. He might have been a little too upright. He might not have had...
he does not have your mobility, that's for sure.
That is for sure. All right, 15 minutes a day. That's a good number.
I think it's a good amount of just leisure scrolling. And there are other leisure activities you can do, but like leisure scrolling on Instagram you get fed so much in 15 minutes nowadays. It's just, that's enough.
All right. What do we have here?
We have any good questions you want to start with?
Latest body scan says losing muscle and fat. How to minimize muscle loss.
You want to start?
Sure. So I assume, because this person said scan, I assume this is a DEXA scan. Although there's a chance that it's something like an in-body scan, which are much more popular. If your in-body scan says that at 2 random points in time, you have lost muscle and fat, or really if it tells you anything at all other than your weight, I would throw the piece of paper in the garbage, because an in-body scan isn't good for anything other than telling you your scale weight, right? All of the other metrics, which are the bioelectrical impedance method is used to derive those numbers, like body fat percentage. It's not an accurate way of estimating body fat. There's an argument that can be made that with high sample size over a long period of time, you're going to get a decent trend line using an in-body. I'm not a fan. I would rather you take waist measurements plus scale weight over time rather than in-body body fat plus scale weight over time. Let's assume that this is a DEXA scan. There's still going to be variance over time based on factors like hydration, food and gut, right? Like lean mass on a DEXA scan is weight minus fat mass. And there are many things that are going to count as lean mass that aren't actual muscle tissue. Water being the big one that can vary within a short amount of time. So it's important not to freak out or put too much stock in 2 single points in time. Oh my gosh, these 2 scans are 8 weeks apart and my second scan says this, and then change everything. That's not enough data for you to go change everything. All of that being said, let's assume that someone is losing muscle and fat. What are some things? What's the question? How to minimize muscle loss? There are 3 big ones that come to mind for me. Getting enough protein, strength training with intensity, and 3, and I've changed my mind slightly on this, but being in too large of a calorie deficit / being in too large of a calorie deficit for too much time is the 3rd one. And so I'll let you take it from there. Otherwise, I can dive in on any of those 3.
I was just thinking slight shift in the direction. Do you remember the training advice for fat loss when we were kids?
When we were kids,
like,
yeah.
When
high
we were
reps,
kids, it
baby.
was like high rep,
High
low
reps,
weight,
feel the burn.
pump work. It's really funny. And I've spent time wondering where that came from, and I have a feeling that came from like roided out bodybuilders who were doing this pump work when really anything would have worked for them, and they were just like, yeah, I'm tired from being in a calorie deficit, and we're just going to feel the pump. So like, you don't want to lift too heavy when you're cutting. So you're just going to do this pump work instead. And really anything would work for them. But now we have so much more science and data on how to actually build muscle in a deficit or minimize muscle loss, which really comes down to keeping intensity high and lifting heavy while you're in a deficit. And that might mean reducing the volume, like total sets. Instead of doing 3 sets, you could do 1 or 2 sets, but keeping the reps between like 6 to 12, and 12 being really on the higher end, but like 6 to 12 heavy, as opposed to what we grew up with, which was like 10 to 25 was like what you would be doing in a cut, which like, dude, that's brutal. Like, like, that's brutal. Glycogen depleted, doing all that. And like, I think it's more likely to lead to more muscle loss. So unless you're keeping intensity high throughout that, which in a deficit, especially after a long time, is just unbelievably difficult.
And it's just so hard. If you're doing the same number of hard sets, like say you're doing 15 hard sets in a training session, it's so mentally and physically, but mostly mentally exhausting if you were to make those all in the 20 to 30 rep range. Like imagine doing 15 sets of 20 to 30 and you're taking all of them within 1 to 2 reps of failure.
Dude.
Absolutely brutal.
Dude.
Versus, like you said, having most of your training in the 6 to 12 rep range.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean you can't do some doubles, triples, sets of 4, sets of 5? No, you absolutely can. Does that not mean you can't do some sets of 15, some sets of 20? You absolutely can. But aiming for the bulk of your work to be in that 6 to 12 range makes a lot of sense.
Also, I would say having those doubles or triples and also having that like 15, 20, 25 rep range, now we're getting into more of a performance-based program. Whereas if I'm working with someone, like if your goal is just straight up muscle growth, like I might not have doubles and triples
or retaining.
Or maintaining. I might not go 15, 20s, but like if I'm more looking for a more well-rounded program that incorporates maximal strength, that incorporates explosive power, rate of force development, that incorporates joint, tendon, ligament health, that incorporates then that's when I'm adding those different rep ranges in, because there are benefits to all of it. But if it's just pure muscle growth, I'll happily stick between 6 to 12 reps, and like, it's just not a well-rounded program. But some people don't want well-rounded results. They just have a focus, and that's what the focus is.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're a psychopath, I mean that in kind of a good way, where they're going to do whatever you program them. And like, they don't need the psychological stimulation of mixing in some higher rep pump stuff, mixing in some heavy stuff. But you make a good point. If that's what, if you are simply optimizing for gaining muscle at all costs or not losing muscle mass in a deficit at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you said something about not staying in a deficit too long, which I think we should talk about that, because I get questions on this all the time. And then I'll get someone who's 50% body fat and being like, well, I don't want to be in a deficit for too long. I'm like, well, let's hold your horses here. So you could be in there for a while, but not being in a large deficit for too long. But even then, depending on the person, and obviously the outliers, like someone who has a lot to lose, like my brother, for example, like he lost like 150 pounds, and like he was in a pretty large deficit for like a year and a half, which is like way longer than someone who, if a woman is like 22% body fat, or if a guy is 15% body fat, now all of a sudden, you don't want to be in a large deficit for a long period of time. That's you're going to be wasting away pretty quick.
Not to mention, if you have 200 pounds to lose, retaining every drop of lean mass shouldn't be a top priority.
Correct.
Because if you have that much weight to lose to be healthy, like if you lose 10% more muscle mass over the course of time, isn't going to make a difference. What matters most is that you can actually lose that body fat in a way that you can keep it off forever. And that usually doesn't mean completely optimizing for all muscle retention in the process.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, like getting enough protein has been beaten to death in the industry, but it is, if you go from not focusing on protein whatsoever, so let's say you end up eating like 0.2 grams per pound of body weight,
Lean mass. Yeah.
and you take it to someone who's very focused on doing whatever they can to maximize muscle retention. And so this person isn't going to be that overweight when they start their cut. And so we'll say 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Awesome. Or even less than that. You could say 0.7 to 1 lean mass, and there's going to be a big difference between that and barely eating any protein in terms of how much muscle you retain.
What'd you eat today for protein?
What did I eat today for protein? I woke up. I had, I'm all out of cocoa cereal flavored whey protein powder.
Oh,
so
bro,
I had
Legion has great cocoa cereal flavor. I like that one a lot.
It's the best by far.
Yeah,
it's
super
the best. I don't know how Mike Matthews guy does it. He must have the best food scientists in the world working over there, because that's the best tasting protein powder I think I've ever had.
Yeah, it's really good.
Went with the fruity cereal, little over a scoop with almonds, and I actually had this like frozen waffle. It's like 20 carb, 4 fat, and I sliced up 2/3 of a banana and put a bunch of blueberries on it.
Nice.
And then had a turkey sandwich right here before the podcast.
So where are you at?
Let's see, 25, 32, 35, 36. Not a ton. Over 80.
Okay. You got some work to do tonight?
Got some work to do tonight. I've been enjoying these Halo tops. I've realized...
Bro, they're so good. They're so good.
I don't know what Halo top did in the last few years.
They fixed their fucking method, that's for sure.
Unbelievable.
Dude.
And not for, the proteins, whatever. You're getting 18 grams of protein in an ice cream. Here's what it is for me. If you give me a candy bar, if you give me a chocolate chip cookie, if you give me any kind of cookie, like most dessert foods, I don't want 300 calories of them. I either don't want it at all, or I want to eat it until I don't feel good. That's how I am with most dessert foods. With pretty much any ice cream, I can eat ice cream in a moderate amount and feel great and be done for whatever reason. The Halo Top, you get the volume of a full pint for 360 calories. You're getting 18 grams of protein with it. I have no digestive distress. I know they're a little higher in sugar alcohols, erythritol, so some people might not feel good having too much of that digestively. I feel amazing digestively.
I have no issues with it.
And when I'm done eating it, I don't want more. Yeah, I'm good. So,
and it's delicious. Like, it's creamy. Like the cookies and cream and the cookie dough are wildly good. I don't know when they shifted their system or whatever the scientific method that they use to make these things, but whoever did it is a genius, because it's fucking outrageous.
Dude, not only the texture of the ice cream, but the like delicious goodies within the ice cream.
Yeah.
So there's one that is I think it's brownie pieces in there, which is really good.
Oh, I haven't had that one yet. Jeez.
I just bought it. It's chocolate caramel brownie.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's not even the best one. There's another one that's chocolate icing cake, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Chocolate ice cream cake. I believe that's the flavor. It has icing in it that is, it's insane. I can't believe it's 360 calories for the pint.
Yeah, my favorite is the Oreo cookie, I think is what it's called, and then the chocolate chip cookie dough is just cookies and cream. Cookies and cream and chocolate chip cookie dough are they're insane.
Chocolate chip cookie dough was always awesome with the little pieces of cookie dough in it.
Yeah, and
the fats are reasonable too.
People have been talking about their Ninja Creamies, and they're like, "Why don't you just get a Ninja Creamy?" And I'm like, that's great, but also like I could have a Halo Top, and I don't have to make it myself. And like the Ninja Creamies, they look great. They look awesome. But with 2 kids and like craziness schedule, like I know it doesn't take that much time, but I'm also like, I'd rather just have this fucking Halo Top. The Ninja Creamy, like some of these things look amazing, but like The Halo Top is really freaking good.
It's so much better than it used to be. And yeah, convenient. You don't need to wash anything. You don't need to do any dishes. I'm with you.
Did you ever have Arctic Chill in like 2014?
Unfortunately, I did.
Or Arctic Ice, or what,
whatever it was called.
So bad.
Disgusting. They were awful.
Those were so bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those were absolutely horrible. They've really improved the formula since then.
In fairness, weren't they like 35 calories for a pint?
Yeah.
Or weren't they they didn't have anything in them. And they didn't have artificial sweetener either. They were really flavorless.
You were just basically eating ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it would fill you up. It would fill you.
Old school dieting. Yeah.
I saw someone eating a rice cake the other day in New York, and they were really savoring it.
Hang on. You know what we should do?
What?
We should make a list of things that trigger Jordan, because on it, I'm going to put number 1, rice cakes, and number 2, loading plates onto a bar are definitely in like the top 8.
Yeah, it's funny. Loading plates onto a bar really, it infuriates me. It's just really annoying. The rice cakes, I don't like it when people pretend like they're delicious. Like, come on, let's use that word more sparingly and accurately. But I have more empathy for this individual that I saw eating the rice cake, because I feel like she's in a real bad part, or a bad way, because like she was savoring every bite of this rice cake. And it wasn't even one of the flavored ones. It wasn't even like the red pepper ones or like any of the better ones.
Was this at the fitness event?
Yeah, it was at the fitness event.
So she was quite lean.
She was super lean, and like she's holding on to it and like trying to make it last for as long as possible. Like, I know I've been there, but I was like, oh gosh, it's
maybe she's competing.
Yeah, there were a lot of competitors there. Who knows? Who knows? Either way,
Hopefully.
I mean, there are a lot of people who competed who regret it. Either way, I was like, oh man, that sucks. Like, yeah. I know that phase. I've been there. It's a terrible phase to be in.
Not a fun place to be. But yeah. I will push back slightly on your rice cake hate. Different people have different taste preferences.
No one prefers here. I'll give you the one exception in which a rice cake is a really good option. It's a great vehicle for texture.
Agreed.
It can be a great vehicle if you want to add some texture, some low-calorie crunch. Fantastic. It's a valid tool. But in no circumstance can anybody say that it is delicious or that they're amazing or that you would prefer it over any other legitimate carbohydrate source. Like, it's not real. Don't even try.
Well, first of all, I
don't accept it. And they make a mess. They are so fucking messy. Do it in your car, good luck. You're going to find it in 10 years. It's the worst.
I'm not a rice cake guy, but I'm going to steel man the other side of this, because I think you're wrong. I've seen enough people on the internet disagree with you who like rice cakes to know that there are people who really like rice cakes.
No, they're not people who are right in the head. These are people who are savoring every bite of their rice cake and they're defending it.
Here's what I know. I know there are foods that you really like, that your palate likes, that I don't like at all. And so the inverse of that has to be true.
It is not objectively true that rice cakes are delicious or amazing or great. Objectively.
Taste is a subjective phenomenon.
No.
That varies from person to person.
You know how there is objective right and wrong, good and bad in the world?
Do I know that?
Yes. Do you know that?
I think I taught you that in 2017.
You did teach me that. And objectively, rice cakes, objectively bad.
All right, Jordan doesn't like rice cakes. I'm over here stuck defending them when I don't really like them either. I can't remember the last time I ate a rice cake.
You don't even like them.
I don't really like them, but I know that someone could. I know someone could.
Not really. Not unless they no. They don't. They don't actually. And one day when they're like 90 or hopefully sooner, they're going to be like, yeah, I didn't actually like those. I was just having it
I
'cause
like them
thought
for the macros. In
so you don't
theory.
actually like them.
Well, I don't eat. They're not something that I eat. I can't remember the last time I had a rice cake. You've probably eaten a rice cake more recently than I have.
Yeah, I've done taste tests on Instagram, and I'm glad to crunch them up as like a low calorie addition.
I wouldn't even do that. I'd rather not have them, to be honest. But I know
And
people like
is
them.
my point. And
I know that people like
is
them.
My point.
Here, all I know is that Jordan could eat a tomato like an apple, and
Yeah,
I could not, because that would not taste good for me. Different people have different taste preferences.
We have very different palates. Like, for example, you were explaining like the icing cake ice cream, and like I hate cake. Like I don't like cake.
It doesn't taste like cake. It's a bad title. It's not cake.
What is it?
I mean, it's ice cream with small kind of chunks of what feel like brownie, although that's probably the quote unquote cake. But,
yeah, that's amazing.
But what's really good about it is the little streaks of icing are sweet and very good.
You love sweet. You like sweet.
Yeah, you're a fried chicken guy.
Yeah.
Pizza. Have we told the story of when you and I were walking around downtown Dallas?
No. I think so.
We didn't tell that publicly.
You tell the story. This is like 2021 or something? 2022?
I feel like it was within a month of you moving to Texas.
It was definitely early on. Yeah. So probably 2021. Yeah.
Within the first couple of months. I'm there visiting. I think we're doing some work stuff, and we're just hanging out, and we're walking around. Downtown Texas or downtown Dallas, sorry, isn't huge. We're walking around there, and like kind of on the perimeter and just kind of looking around and pointing out. And I'm like, oh, Pizza Hut. And Jordan goes, that's really good to know. And it's like, that's really good to know. You're like, yeah. I was like,
I was like, oh, really? That is really good to know.
That's really good to know. I was like, yeah.
You know why? Okay, so I have a better, because you came in, I was working with Mitch already, right? Because we did stuff for the mentorship.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So this must have been probably September or October of 2021. And so we're walking around, and I remember because I had gone to my buddy Sean's lake house within the last month or two prior to that, and we ordered stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. And I hadn't had stuffed crust pizza since I was a kid. And I like, in my mind, when I think of pizza, like the best pizza ever, it's stuffed crust pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, it's the best. And I don't know anywhere else that makes it except for Pizza Hut. So when I saw that there was a Pizza Hut walking around with you, like within minutes of my apartment, I was like, oh, that is very good to know. And you stopped in the middle of downtown Dallas, and you're like, why is that something that is very good? Like, you could be like, oh, that's like nice, or like, I'll keep that in mind. But you're like, why is that so good to know?
Yeah.
And the worst part is I never ordered from there. I never
be the best part.
I never ever ordered it. I haven't had stuffed crust pizza in like 2.5, 3 years.
That's probably the right frequency for stuffed crust pizza.
Probably good for my cholesterol, but
yeah, stuffed crust pizza is dense. Although I'm with you, I have such good childhood memories of stuffed crust pizza.
Yeah, just the nostalgia there is amazing.
Was it heavily marketed towards us? Weren't there commercials where you would eat it backwards?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Capitalism's just infected our brains.
Yeah.
The government should run everything. I'm kidding.
Just give it all to the government. You guys, you're good. You know how to make good decisions.
But that was like a campaign, right? Stuffed crust pizza?
Yeah, for sure. It absolutely was.
Yeah. Bench every day good. Woman here Trying to lift like a guy to build muscle.
Where did you get these questions?
You read them to me off of your Instagram like 3 weeks ago.
I was wondering who's sending you questions that sound like questions that I get. Bench every day, good. Woman here.
Trying to lift like a guy to build muscle.
There's just so much to discuss here.
I agree.
First, no, don't bench every day. That's not good. Bench every day, no good.
Is there any circumstance where you think bench every day is a good idea?
Yeah, if someone was like, I want to make terrible progress, I want to reverse my progress with my bench press, and I want to be outrageously sore and potentially cause an injury to my pecs and to my delts and to my rotator cuff. What? Bench every day.
Who was the guy who did squat every day?
Matt Perryman. That's different though. He did such a good job. Like, to be fair, Matt Perryman is like an absolute genius. And he did a really good, and to be fair, I don't think it was optimal. To be fair, I don't think it was optimal. I do think it was a very good program, and it wasn't squatting heavy with a barbell.
Oh, I thought he barbell back squatted every day. Obviously, he varied intensity.
He might have.
Varied intensity very intelligently. Yeah. And I don't remember the time span he did it over, but yeah, for almost everyone, not a good idea.
You just really like to steel man anything I say. Anything I say, you like to go the other way. Oh, you say that, I'll say this. You say this, I'll say that.
No, I'm with you. In my entire career, I've never programmed a client to bench press every single day, even the ones who wanted to maximize their bench press or wanted to maximize the amount of chest growth that they saw. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I think the most is 3 times a week. And even then you'd have some real variance and intensities and speeds and loading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Trying to lift like a dude. I think this is what she said. She's like, she's trying to lift like a guy to build muscle.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, I saw someone make a video about this the other day, basically they were saying that there are ways to lift like a guy and to not lift like a guy. And for me, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you lift for the goal that you want to achieve, regardless of gender. Like, if you want to build muscle, then you train this way. I don't care if you're a man or if you're a woman. The way to build muscle is going to be the same. If you want to get more explosive, then this is what you follow. These are the principles. If you want to have better endurance, these are the principles. And then if there are issues along the way, then you adjust based on individual issues. But I don't think that those individual issues are determined by gender. I think they're determined by the individual. Now, I know there are some people in the industry who say women do better with like less intensity and more volume. Women do better. Like, they say all these different things. In my experience, I haven't found that to be true. I haven't found there to be a one size fits all. Women do better with this, men do better with that. Like, not from a training perspective per se. I have, at least not from like a physiological response to training. I have noticed maybe in how you communicate. Generally speaking, there are generalizations you can make, but not definitively. But in terms of physiological adaptations, I haven't noticed like men or women need really anything different as long as the training principles are met based on their goal.
Yeah, I'm with you. Some on the psychological side of things, maybe a beginner dude is more likely to go to failure to his detriment, might I add, or increased risk of injuring himself than a beginner woman is, likely to take sets close to physiological failure. But yeah, you're programming for the individual, not for the gender, and the individual's goals specifically. What I was interpreting with this question might have been something to the effect of, I'm a woman, I see that men tend to build muscle at a faster rate or tend to build more muscle than women. So I want to train like a man so that I can build muscle at a faster rate or build more muscle. When in reality, the reason that men build more muscle than women or can build muscle faster than women isn't because of the training style or the specific program that a dude is doing, but based on the inherent biology of a man,
Correct.
of our hormones, of the the God-given things that allow us to develop more muscle mass on average.
Yeah.
When you're
It's what
looking
you're
at
born with.
populations. Yes.
Yeah.
All of that being said, if you wanted to do whatever you could to maximize muscle growth, is benching every day a good idea? No, like we alluded to earlier, it's not a great idea. Training each body part close to failure twice a week on average for, I don't know, we don't need to go into number of working set recommendations per body part, but for in the 10-ish sets per week range, it's going to be more than that for some body parts, maybe a little bit less than that. It's going to vary some from person to person. Getting enough protein, being in a slight calorie surplus. I'm seeing more and more push around you don't need to be in a surplus to build muscle. Yeah, technically true. And there are instances where you can build muscle when you're not in a calorie surplus, but it's much easier to build muscle in a slight surplus than it is to build it in a slight deficit for basically everyone. We'll remove the steroid population, we'll remove the beginner population, or we'll remove the, I took 6 months off of training, I'm restarting population. Like, yeah, there are people who can recomp more easily than others, but for most people, being in a slight surplus is going to help. And making sure you're recovering properly, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure you're not taking 30,000 steps every single day, making sure you're not playing 4 hours of rec sports every single day if your primary goal is to build muscle, which it sounds like this woman's is. So getting enough intensity and volume with good technique, eating enough calories and protein, getting enough recovery, be consistent with the program over a long time. And when I say long, I mean years. I don't mean do this for a month or 2 months and you'll see this great progress. It takes a long time to build an appreciable and visible amount of muscle mass.
There's a woman in the Inner Circle today, in the Inner Circle Live. She was asking about substitutions for exercises, and she was like, and basically it was amazing. She said she started with me a while ago, and she was like, "Hey, I want to add more machines to it. How should I do that?" And I was explaining, and I explained why I don't program any machines, not because I don't like them, but because I'm programming for a large number of people and all this stuff. I was like, but since you've been doing this for a long time now, like, just make sure you're hitting a machine that works the same prime movers of the exercise that we're doing. And she was like, "Oh no, like that makes total sense." And she was like, "Just so you know, when I joined the Inner Circle, I said that I would do it for 5 years so that I wouldn't be program hopping and doing other programs." And I was like, that's amazing that you, like, whatever program you're going to do it for 5 years before you move on. Like, that's super admirable. And like, that's how you get great results. And that's when people say like, "Oh, like you're lucky, you're genetically whatever." It's like, no, that's because you stuck with one style of programming for years and you saw amazing results with that rather than program hopping.
Yeah, that's an incredible mindset and a realistic outlook and perspective, and awesome amount of patience. Good for her.
One on like the building muscle in a calorie deficit versus surplus. I think it's become something where people are so worried about gaining any bit of fat that they're like, all right, well, I'll just stay in a deficit or eat as little and just try and build muscle here. And like, well, yes, you can. You can also, if you have a knife and someone else has a gun, like, you can win, but like, it's way harder. It's much, 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 much harder to do that. And I think a good compromise is eat around maintenance for the majority of the time, and then like have a couple days a week, probably your training days, where you're eating a slight surplus. It's like,
yeah, I like that. So you end up in a surplus.
You end up in a slight surplus. Whereas like, you don't have to eat in a surplus every day, but eat around maintenance, and then on your training days, eat in a slight surplus. And like, now you're good, and you give your body the fuel that it needs. And also it's nice because on the day that you're training, when you're eating more calories, you will be expending more energy as well. Mm-hmm. So like, the amount that you're actually eating in a surplus, the amount of fat gain is minimal. But there's also nothing wrong with fat gain, and it will help you build more muscle in the long run.
Absolutely. Help you build more muscle, help you build muscle faster. The thing is, if you've been training for at least a year or two and you've squeezed out a good chunk of your newbie gains, and you're not using steroids, which I don't know if it was last week or the week before, we were talking all about the fake natty influencers. It takes a long time to build muscle, even in a surplus. And so then to like say, oh, you can do this while you're in a deficit. I haven't seen it to the extent that so many others supposedly have. And I would challenge, basically anyone who's an intermediate or advanced lifter who does a 6-month or a 1-year muscle gain phase, right? So let's say you're in a 300 calorie surplus on average per day for an extended period of time, which is a pretty small surplus. It's like a 2 pounds a month of weight gain is kind of what you're targeting there, which is super reasonable, and not going to lead to a ton of excess body fat gain. At the end of that year, go from your 300 calorie a day surplus to a 500 calorie a day deficit. Do that for the next 6 months and show me how you're going to build muscle over those 6 months in a deficit. You're 100% going to lose muscle in that deficit outside of the standard, the ones that I mentioned earlier, the situations I mentioned earlier. You're brand new to lifting. You're someone who's taking drugs. You've taken time off. It's so hard to build appreciable muscle in a deficit.
Correct.
And I like your strategy a lot, by the way, which is for someone who isn't trying to do a dreamer bulk, for someone who doesn't want to be like Lee Priest on Lyle McDonald's website where he's eating the chicken wing, he's got the giant belly and he gains a ton of muscle, but he gains a lot of fat with it. For someone who doesn't want to do that, but thinks, I want to gain some muscle. I don't care how fast it happens, but I don't want to gain a ton of excess body fat in the process. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. Like I just want to feel good while building muscle and I'm cool doing it slowly. Awesome. In that case, aim for maintenance or being in a slight surplus, maybe on training days or maybe like on event days, holiday, family time, fun, you end up in a slight surplus. That's a great strategy. But I haven't seen the science to back the thesis that you can gain muscle in a deficit. And I haven't even seen the anecdotes to back that thesis either. So I'm not understanding it. Outside of what you just described, which is people really, really, really don't want to gain any body fat.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
Hi, Mike/Jordan. You guys are the best. Your podcast, your characters, and your knowledge of all fitness and nutrition-related issues. I can't thank you enough for the no BS information you share.
Thank you. Super nice.
How do you reach your potential niche if you don't use social media much? I only have an Instagram account that is limited to close family and friends. Thanks so much, Nadine. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you very much, Nadine. You have 2 options, basically. Oh, do you have more? One option would be writing website articles, which does not technically count as social media. Fair warning, like it's, you'd have to be not only unbelievably good at writing website articles, but also unbelievably good at search engine optimization and essentially online marketing to solely write website articles with 0 ads, with 0 social media to get enough people to drive you there, to drive. Like that it would be, and it does happen, but it's rare, like very rare. So I'll say this: it's far easier to build muscle in a calorie deficit than it is to do that. The other options are running ads, so you don't necessarily have to post or do much on social media, but you run ads that will lead people to your website, for example. Again, without any experience, very, very, very difficult. And with the added issue of it being costly because you're spending a lot of money on it. And the other option is you get on social media. Like that's really it. Or if you have people that you've already worked with for a while, you get word of mouth referrals. And like that is a very great option as well. But that takes time and getting in front of people. So, I mean, the nice thing about social media is, as of right now, it is the simplest, easiest, and free way to get you attention, to get in front of more people. So that's why, or one reason why it's so beneficial.
Yeah, it's true.
I would make another Instagram account. You have one for your family and friends, which quite frankly, you're probably not going to use very much if you're posting very consistently on your business social media. But like you could have one that's private just for family and friends and then make another one for your business.
And that would be only if you had some reason to keep that private one for family and friends. If you wanted to post stuff that you didn't want being posted publicly, but if you're open to it, it would actually be more beneficial to switch that to your business account. And then you have a built-in, audience who will be engaging with, that's how the majority of us started with our first clients, was from people we already knew, people who were already Facebook friends or Instagram followers who we knew in real life. The only idea I would add to what Jordan just mentioned is some kind of in-person, in real life interaction. And, that could be, let's say you're an in-person personal trainer and you volunteer to give a talk to a company for free to their employees on a lunch break, and you pass around a sheet of paper and collect everyone's email address when you go and give the talk. Like there are ways to pound the pavement, guerrilla marketing. Like, I don't know. I remember doing flyers and I was trying everything when I first moved to New York City, to bring the episode full circle to how we started it. I remember doing like sidewalk chalk, writing the website URL. I remember like free workout, little things that I would put with, 20 of my phone number and then stick it to a lamp pole. You could pull them off. There's ways to unconventionally go find attention. They're all way more difficult than social media, which is why so many people use social media.
I've been thinking about getting a billboard on the highway.
Have you looked into pricing?
Dude, they're wildly expensive.
Are they?
Yeah. Hold on.
What would you put on the billboard?
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Billboard price. Yeah, they're very, very expensive. The average price for a billboard around Dallas is almost $7,000 a month, which isn't like that bad, but that's like the average. And if you want one in a really good area, it's going to be significantly more than that.
Would your billboard be it wouldn't be a right hook, I would imagine.
No. I mean, it would probably be something like following me on Instagram, like free fat loss, like free science-based fat loss, like follow me on Instagram, some type of thing, or push to my podcast or my YouTube, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. That would probably be what I do. It wouldn't be like join the inner circle. It would be like the best free fat loss tips, Jordan Syatt mini podcast, something like that, and see how that goes.
How long have you been thinking about doing that?
Every time I go on the highway, because there's this one guy here in Dallas, Jim Adler, who just he's got these billboards everywhere. And this guy must be spending millions a year in billboards, and everyone knows his name. And like, he's just like, if you get hurt in a car accident, Jim Adler, that's your guy. And he has all these really clever signs, but he must be spending tens of millions. And one of my friends, like, apparently knows his family, and they absolutely crush it. And I was just like, oh man, I wonder what, like, if one would do any good. It would be interesting to see. Realistically, I'd probably push to podcast if I had to push to one, because they're driving, and so they could put it on. I might literally say like the best free fat loss advice, put my podcast on while you're driving. I'd figure out a way to say it better, but like that way they search my podcast, they just listen to it while they're driving. They don't need to try and look me up on Instagram and look through my posts and then have to deal with all the algorithm stuff. I'd probably rather just like, hey, go listen to my podcast right now. Want help with fat loss? Go listen to my free podcast. Something like that, I think we should try that for the mentorship for this podcast. Like, want to become a personal trainer? Free podcast.
So here's, and now I'm thinking back to so many times that I was a fly on the wall for conversations Gary had about the beauties of social media and the ability to find audience who's interested in what you provide. Thankfully for all of us coaches, most people need fitness help in some way. Like, most of the population has an interest in fitness. You could argue all of the population, actually. We all eat.
We all want to be healthy, even if we say we don't. Like, everyone wants to be healthy.
Right. The population for wanting to be a personal trainer is, a fraction of the actual population. So I'm just thinking every car that drives by, how many of them could be it fits the target market of a fitness coaching business? Basically everyone could, or at least a substantial chunk of them do. Whereas for this podcast, even though it's not everything we talked about, but for the mentorship, it's a much smaller percentage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder how many cars drive by like one of these billboards per day.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
I wonder if you could find out exactly how many. Back into that. If it's, let's say 5,000 a day, 150K a month, how many of those people are looking and going to see it? What would a cost per download to your podcast be worth to you? Like, where would you be happy if 7,000 people downloaded it over the course of a month?
Well, that would be
or
what,
7,000 people listen to one episode? $1 per person.
No, I mean I would say each download would be worth $15-20, maybe even more.
Really?
Yeah, because if one of them signs up for the inner circle, that's $50 a month. So that's like $150 for a sign up, which is because the minimum sign up is 3 months. So it's if one of them signs up, it's $150. So I mean, maybe even one download, and a significant number of the people who listen to the podcast eventually become inner circle members.
Yeah, but a significant number of regular listeners probably do. A significant number of people who listened once. I wonder what percentage of people who listen once become regular listeners.
Yeah, that would be interesting data.
Yeah.
That's another way, Nadine. Billboards.
Well, and that's true. That's why social media is so great. It's a billboard. The cost is time and energy to make content.
Yeah.
If you have money and you can spend that money getting eyeballs in front of something, that's easier.
The other thing about a billboard, you drive by the billboard, you forget it. Like, that's it. With social media, they come across your post, go to your page. You've got all of your content right there. You build trust immediately. You don't build trust from a billboard. You just get interest. You get attention.
Good episode.
Billboards. Big sale coming for the mentorship soon. You might see us on a billboard. You might not. But that's it. Don't eat rice cakes. Don't lie to yourself.
Have a great week. We'll be back next Tuesday. See you then.